Hi, our names are Kate and Cole, and this is our final team project for AGB 212.
So the question we decided to go with on this one was question one, that being, what will be the impact on producers and consumers of organic eggs, both immediate and long-term, from organic egg producers being required to conform to the outdoor access rule as determined by organic regulations. Consider issues such as the equilibrium price of organic eggs, the cost of production as shown by individual and aggregated cost curves, and the possible impacts on the conventional egg market. So for some consumer and demand issues, we thought that two possible economic shifters could be income and preference. As for preference, this is both the consumer being happy knowing that there are healthier conditions for the chickens, as well as the taste of the chicken itself. Demand will go up and to the right. This is because of an increase for the want of free-range chickens, and will also cause an immediate price increase, also making the cost of shift up. Once firms have switched their equipment and adjusted the price will then lower. This is because even though it's an expensive immediate cost to buy the equipment, once they pay that equipment off, it'll actually lower the price because it'll have less cost. As for the graph, this graph is showing an increase in price, causing the demand to decrease. But if we were to think about it in another way, as far as ethics go, if outdoor access regulations are enforced, the change will cause the demand to shift up because people are more inclined to buy a good that they can trust and a good that handles their animals in an ethical way. So like I said, even though this graph isn't showing the ethical side of it, this is just the graph for the increase in price causing the demand to decrease.
So now I'm going to touch on some of the supply issues. So conforming to the new regulations will increase the cost, which makes the average variable cost and marginal cost shift upwards. The cost of producing each unit will also increase. The firms will probably bring less to the market at this higher price. The marginal cost, the average variable cost, and average total cost curves will also shift up due to the cost in meeting these new regulations. And long term, these producers will be able to find cheaper ways to produce these eggs for a lower price. So here's my first graph with price on the y-axis and quantity on the x-axis. Here you can see the demand stays the same while the supply shifts upwards because of the increase of the production cost, and less quantity will be produced at a greater price, which is sold. So you can see where P1 intersects Q1 is that new point, and you can see that the equilibrium price increases while the equilibrium quantity decreases. Because as you're moving left on the graph, it's going higher in price and the quantity is decreasing. And then here is my second graph, and you see the marginal cost and average variable cost shift up. Firms are bringing less to the market at this higher price, and overall at any given price or quantity, the supply will have decreased, meaning shifting leftward.
So some market equilibrium issues could be new market equilibrium will occur at a lower quantity and a higher price. The supply is going to decrease because of this new mandate, making firms conform to their new production costs and equipment. So the supply is shifting left due to the production costs. Similarly, demand will decrease due to the increase in production costs. So overall decrease in equilibrium output on the market. So basically at any given price, consumers will slightly increase their aggregate quantity demanded for a good, because more consumers want organic eggs, especially after the new mandates have been enforced and the chickens are given better living conditions.
So here we have one scenario where the supply shifts left due to the new production cost, and the demand is also decreasing, shifting down and left due to the increased product cost. And certain firms are going to lead the market and lessen the supply. So you see the demand line in green and then the new demand line in pink. It is shifting left, and you see the two circled points, which showing on the first supply and demand line, it is more quantity at a lower price, where it's going to be less quantity at a higher price on the new demand and supply line.
So for short-term profit maximization, if you look at the graph, It shows that on the y-axis, we have the price for a dozen eggs. And on the x-axis, we have the dozen eggs per month. So if you look at it, you can see that the marginal cost, the average total cost, and the average variable cost are all shifted up. This is due to the cost of meeting new regulations, and overall, the cost curve is shifting up while the quantity is decreasing.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.